Most men don't fail because they are weak. They fail because they keep negotiating with themselves. They wake up tired and ask, should I do it today or tomorrow? They feel unmotivated and say, maybe when I feel ready. They make promises at night and excuses in the morning. Nothing dramatic happens. Life doesn't fall apart. Bills still get paid. People still see a normal man. But slowly, something erodes. Not your income, not your reputation, your self-respect. Because every time you negotiate with yourself and walk away, your mind learns a dangerous lesson. Your word is optional. At this stage of life, discipline is no longer about intensity. It's about ending the conversation. You don't ask how you feel. You don't wait for clarity. You don't search for motivation. You decide once, and then you execute quietly. No one is watching when you wake up early. No one applauds when you eat simply. No one notices when you keep promises that only you remember. That's the point. Quiet discipline is built in moments that feel insignificant. Small actions. No emotion. No negotiation. The men who stand tall later are not the loud ones. They are the ones who stopped arguing with themselves and started acting. Self-negotiation feels harmless. It sounds reasonable. It even feels mature. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Just this once won't matter. I deserve a break. And the problem is, each excuse makes sense on its own. But discipline is not lost in one big failure. It is dismantled through thousands of small negotiations. Every time you debate instead of act, your brain reinforces one pattern. Action is optional. Over time, this rewires how you see effort. You stop trusting your first decision. You wait for emotion to agree. You look for certainty before moving. And certainty never comes, so you stay stuck in preparation, planning, thinking, refining. Movement slows, momentum disappears. This is why many men feel busy, but unchanged. The real damage of self-negotiation is not laziness. It is delayed identity. You are no longer a man who acts. You become a man who considers. At this stage of life, that shift is dangerous. Because responsibilities don't wait. Health doesn't wait. Time doesn't wait. Quiet discipline works because it removes choice. You decide in advance. You remove debate. You act before your emotions get a vote. No drama, no intensity, no motivation required. Just structure, just rhythm, just quiet execution. Men who regain control don't become more emotional. They become more decisive. They stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, what is scheduled? Motivation works when life is simple, when energy is high, when consequences are far away. But after 40, life changes the rules. You wake up already carrying weight, responsibilities, people depending on you, decisions that don't pause just because you're tired. Motivation becomes unreliable because your body is different now. Sleep is lighter. Recovery is slower. Stress doesn't reset overnight. Waiting to feel ready becomes a trap. Motivation is emotional energy. And emotional energy is inconsistent. Some days, you have it. Most days, you don't. Men over 40 don't fail because they lack desire. They fail because desire cannot compete with fatigue. This is why motivational videos stop working at this stage. They create a spike. But spikes always fall. You feel inspired for a moment. Then real life shows up, and the system collapses. Quiet discipline understands this reality. It does not ask you to feel powerful. It assumes you will feel tired. It doesn't depend on excitement. It relies on structure that works even on low-energy days. Instead of asking, how do I get motivated? You ask, what can I do even when motivation is gone? That question changes everything. You lower the barrier. You simplify the action. You remove friction. 5 minutes instead of 50. Consistency instead of intensity. Rhythm instead of force. Motivation wants perfect conditions. Discipline works in imperfect ones. Men who last don't feel better than others. They simply stop expecting motivation to save them. They build systems that carry them forward on days when they have nothing left. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. When no one is watching, most systems collapse. There is no pressure, no reward, no immediate consequence. And that's exactly where real consistency is decided. Men don't stay consistent because they are disciplined heroes. They stay consistent because they protect something quietly, their identity. When no one is watching, excuses feel safe. Skipping feels invisible. Quitting has no witnesses. But your mind is always watching. Every skipped action leaves a mark. Every broken promise rewrites how you see yourself. You stop trusting your own word. And once self-trust is gone, motivation, discipline, and confidence all collapse together. What keeps men consistent is not fear of failure. It's fear of becoming someone they don't respect. At this stage of life, identity matters more than results. You don't train for the body alone. You train to remain a man who shows up. You don't work consistently just for income. You work to preserve internal order. Quiet discipline is built on one private rule. I do what I said I would do, even if no one knows. No camera, no applause, no validation, just alignment. Men who last don't chase streaks or challenges. They protect small, boring standards. Wake up time, movement, simple meals, basic responsibilities handled without drama. These actions look insignificant from the outside, but internally, they build authority. You begin to trust yourself again. And once self-trust is restored, consistency becomes natural, not forced. No one is watching. That's why it works. Most men try to become disciplined by adding pressure, more goals, more rules, more intensity. That approach works briefly, then collapses. Quiet discipline is built the opposite way. It removes friction before it adds effort. Friction is anything that makes action harder than it needs to be. Too many decisions, too many options, too much thinking. After 40, willpower is no longer unlimited. It must be protected. This is why disciplined men simplify aggressively. They wake up at the same time, no debate. They wear the same few outfits, no choice fatigue. They eat similar meals, no negotiation. From the outside, it looks boring. From the inside, it feels freeing. When discipline becomes automatic, it no longer depends on mood. You don't ask if today is the day. You don't evaluate your energy. You follow the structure you already decided. Automatic discipline is built in advance. You prepare the night before. You place the tools where they are easy to reach. You remove distractions before they become temptations. This is not weakness. This is intelligence. Men who last don't fight themselves every morning. They design their environment to win quietly. Less friction means fewer excuses. Fewer excuses mean fewer negotiations. And fewer negotiations restore self-trust. Over time, discipline stops feeling heavy. It feels neutral, like brushing your teeth, like locking the door, like showing up. This is how consistency becomes boring, and boredom becomes power. No drama, no speeches, just quiet systems doing their work while life moves forward. At some point, every man realizes something quietly. Life doesn't change because you understand more. It changes when you stop negotiating, not loudly, not dramatically, but privately. There is a line you either cross or you don't. On one side, you explain, you postpone, you wait for better timing. On the other side, you act without discussion. Quiet discipline is not about becoming extreme. It's about becoming reliable to yourself. You don't need to do more. You need to argue less. One wake-up time, one simple rule, one promise you keep daily, not to impress anyone, not to transform overnight, just to remain someone you respect. When no one is watching, that's when the real decision is made. You either protect your word or slowly teach yourself it doesn't matter. Men who stand steady later in life are not the most intense ones. They are the ones who stopped breaking small promises. They chose boredom over chaos, structure over emotion, silence over excuses. Nothing flashy happens, but something solid forms. And one day, without noticing when it started, you realize you don't need motivation anymore. You don't need speeches. You don't need permission. You already decided a long time ago, and you kept going.